Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome back. I am your host, Sara Mayer, and I'm so excited that you are here for day 3. I know many of you have been really wanting to jump into day 3. You want to get your goals all in a pretty format. As a high achiever, you're like, I absolutely need my goals to be out there. People are posting them on social media. And the first 2 days, we took a step back and we focused on reflection because the keys to your success truly lie in the past. That's how we find out how you do everything or anything. That's how we find out what truly inspires you and brings you joy. So I hope you did day 1 reflection. Day 2, we really talked about your goals. I asked you to dream big, to not put any limitations on yourself. Don't put your goals in SMART format. Don't worry about that. I asked you to take a look at what you truly want, not just this year, but beyond, because many of the things that we truly want in life take much longer than a year to achieve. So I hope you did that work. If you just jumped on this video and you're like, wait, what? Day 1, day 2? I have no idea what you're talking about. Why is she wearing a New Year's hat? What have I got myself into? You are in the Bold Goal Crusher New Year party. And it is an amazing party. We're having a great time. It's not too late to sign up, but I encourage you to jump back to video 1, which is, jump back to the welcome video, then video 1, then video 2, and then come back to this video. Sign up for the party, saramayer.com, New Year party / saramayer.com/New Year party 2023. That's where you can sign up. If you're already in the party, just a reminder, you have 5 days of guided goal setting. You're on day 3. I've also put together some awesome speakers because we know that there are reasons why people stop moving forward on their goals. And many times it's because they need to learn something. So these speakers have put together some awesome workshops, spotlights, courses, little things that you can do, grab and go to help you achieve your goal. So know that those are there as well. And they have donated awesome resources to the swag bag. So if you haven't jumped into the swag bag yet, check that out because there are a ton of things in there. So if you've been in the party, you signed up for the party, we're on day 3, and you might want to consider upgrading. For the party, we do have some live events, vision board workshops, solution circles, which are super awesome because chances are if you have a problem, somebody in our group can help solve it. You get access to that. But if you upgrade to VIP, you get VIP access. You also get access to the VIP party, but you get upgraded resources. So the speakers have put together party favors that include calls, yes, coaching calls, courses, whole bunch of upgraded resources for you. So definitely consider upgrading. All right, enough about that. Let's jump in to the day because I know many of you are ready to really set your goals. So hopefully you did the work. If you didn't do the work yet, go ahead and pause this little section and go back and either rewatch those or do the reflection and get your goals out of your head and onto paper. And remember, I asked you not to put them in any format. Just put down your ideas, what they are, no matter how bananas they may seem, no matter how wild, get them on paper. So let's jump into today. I'm going to jump in and out of slides just because, I have some content, but you'll still see me on the screen. So give me 1 second and I will share my screen and we will jump in. All right, so here's where we are at. We are going to decide our resolutions, our goals, and our themes today or this year. Sorry, I'm just getting this window the way I want it so that looks good. All right, so we're going to talk about resolutions, themes, vision boards, goals, words for the year, all things. But I want to start off really quick and share that I do all of this. So I set goals, I set objectives, I decide what my results are going to be. I have resolutions, a theme, a word, and a vision board. And you may be thinking, oh my gosh, that is a lot. It is a lot, but that's how you can effectively set and crush your goals, because all of these things, when they work together, really, really do help you to achieve that goal, especially the big stuff that'll take way longer than a year. So I want to talk about what all of these are. And I think the best way is truly to share the definitions, because so many people, they want to get to the goals and they want to set the goals and they want to check that off the list. And so I think it's important to have an understanding of how these all work together. And I just love some of these definitions. So this is the definition of a goal. And what strikes me on this one is the first one talks about soccer or football or hockey. And so it's really about having a post with a crossbar, often with a net attached to it, forming a space into or over which the ball is to be sent through to score. So if you were wondering what the goal of a sporting event is, that is the definition of a goal. But really, the second sentence says it all. It's the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or desired result. So it is all tied to your ambition. And sometimes people hear the word ambition or say things like she's ambitious, and that's negative. It's not negative. It's actually positive. So a goal is really the object of that ambition. That what are you trying to reach? What is your aim? And what is your desired result? And so keep that in mind as we talk about these different definitions, because the goal is really the focus of where we're going. That is the guiding principle. And this is why we're going to talk about resolutions, but this is why resolutions don't tend to work, because they're not really an ambition or an aim. And if you just set them based off of what you didn't do last year or anything like that, they tend to fizzle out, as we know, by February. So just know that you can become a part of the group that actually sets and crushes resolutions, but it starts with setting good goals. So goals really are what you want to achieve in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and so on. That's really what the goal is. It's what do you want to achieve? We will jump into how to set those after we have an understanding of how all of these things really work together. So let's talk about objectives, because many times when people set a goal, they're actually setting an objective. So go with me. They'll say, and this is why I don't like SMART goals, if you jump back to video 2, they'll say, I will achieve this by this day. And really what they're doing is maybe setting an objective. So an objective is a theme aimed at or sought out. And they use the word goal here, which I disagree. The system has achieved its objective. So really the objectives are the steps that you will take to achieve a goal. And it's the thing you're aiming at the goal. So if we go back to that soccer definition, it would be the ball, like get the ball. The objective is to get the ball through the goal. See what I'm saying? That's easy to measure. Did you get the ball through the goal? So I think that's where people get really caught up sometimes, is that they set objectives rather than goals, and goals really should be lofty. They should be wild. They should be inspirational. They should be what you truly want to achieve and what gets you excited. They don't have to be smart or time bound or anything like that. Your objectives should be. Are you with me? All right, let's go on to the next concept before we jump in. So objectives are really how you will achieve your goals. That's the how. That's the I will do this and I will achieve this goal by accomplishing these things. the results. So a lot of people also set goals that are actually results. So for example, this is the easiest one that everybody relates to. They'll set a goal of losing 100 pounds or maybe 10 pounds or 5 pounds, whatever the goal is. They'll say that's the goal. And it's actually not the goal. The goal is to become more healthy. The objectives to become more healthy are to eat right, to work out a certain number of times, to get better sleep, to handle any health issues. You can make a million objectives and you can put deadlines on them. I will work out 3 times a week. I will eat healthy by doing XYZ. They're very measurable. The result is that you lose weight, that you become more fit, that you lose inches. So those are actually results. So results are a consequence, an effect, or an outcome of something. So the tower collapsed as a result of safety violations, it has in here, or they also can be the result or occur as a consequence of something. So the result, maybe you don't get healthier if you don't work out. So goals, what you're trying to achieve, the objectives, how you're going to achieve them, and the results are where you're going to arrive. Does that make sense? So going back to the previous video, you all know I wanted to be a world champion equestrian. And that really wasn't a good goal. And you'll know that when I set that goal, I was like 6 and I didn't have the system. Because if I were to set that goal again, I would say to be an accomplished equestrian, to get good at riding horses. I don't need it to be in any format. It needs to inspire me and me only. And the objectives would be learn how to ride really difficult horses, learn these different steps, connect with animals. But the result would be become a world champion equestrian, because I don't really have control over whether somebody is going to decide if I'm a world champion equestrian. What I have control over are the steps and the goals that I've set. And so the reason that goals and resolutions fizzle out really quickly is because people are focused on the result. And sometimes the result is going to take 10, 15, 20 years and they get bored. They get bored with working on it. They don't see the progress to that goal because they're focused on the wrong thing. So we just talked about goals, outcomes, and results, or objectives and results. And I hope you have a better understanding of why your resolutions and goals maybe have fizzled out in the past. So now let's talk about how you change that. So, well, actually jump back. I have another slide. What is the result of accomplishing the goal? There you go. You have it. All right. So how do you change that? There's really some key decisions that you need to make. And the first key decision is, what are your goals? The second key decision, what are your resolutions? The third, what's your theme? Fourth, what's your word? And fifth, how are you going to visually display your vision? Vision boards. So that's why I do them all. So let's jump into them. So just a reminder, our goals, that is not the right definition. So pause, hold on. All right. Just a reminder, our goals are the object of a person's ambition or effort or aim. And so I ask you to truly think about, we did this in the last exercise. What are your ambitions? What do you truly, truly want to achieve? What do you want to achieve in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years? So start off by what do you want to achieve? And hopefully you made a list. I have my list here in my workbook. And I didn't like freeform. I didn't go in and really put them in buckets or organize them or anything like that. I just truly tapped into what I truly want. And I did that. And I encourage you to do that by looking back. Last year, what brought me joy? What did I enjoy doing? What do I want more of? What made me happy? And then I started to write down what I wanted to achieve. So now that you have that, I hope when you look at that list, you truly are inspired. And what it's time to do now is to take a look at that list and decide, is this something I truly want? Is this something that lights me up and inspires me? Or is this something I put on there because I should want this, or I have to do this, or anything like that? Anything that gives you kind of that negative feeling, maybe cross that one off. Let it go, as Frozen, as they say in the Frozen movie. I think that was Elsa. Elsa, yeah. So let it go. So really look at that list and figure out what inspires you. And so now that you have the list, I encourage you to go through the list and chunk these things maybe right next to how many years you think that it will take to accomplish this: 1, 2, 5, 10, or 20. And I want to remind you before you get into this exercise that we humans tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 5. So just jot down a number, whatever your gut is telling you, but know that you may not end up with this number in the future. So as we go down the exercise, this number may change. And I also want you to really star the things or call out the things that really light you up, that get you excited. Now, don't get into the, well, this isn't realistic. I can't accomplish it. I don't even know where to begin with this. Don't do any of that. Just look at your goals and say, what inspires me? Assign a time frame to them and star the ones that truly, truly light you up. So go ahead and pause this video. Take however long it's going to take for you to do that. Remember, these goals do not have to be pretty. It could be have a homestead, whatever. It could be get better at work. It doesn't matter at this point what format they're in. It's what matters is that they inspire you. And if you are a perfectionist, this is going to be a hard activity, but do this from your heart, not from your head. All right. So now that you have your goals and you've assigned a time frame, it's really time to decide what you are going to focus on this year. And when you're thinking about picking this, I encourage you to remember that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in a year. It doesn't mean that if you don't pick that goal, that you're not going to work on it at all. It just, I'm asking you to decide what you're going to focus on this year. So I encourage you to pick 3. Pick 3 goals that you truly are inspired by, that you want to focus on this year. 3 goals. Do you have your 3? I hope you have your 3, because these 3 are going to be what we focus all the rest of the things on. Now, however you picked your 3, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're 1, 2, 5, 10, or 20 year goals. You are going to be able to create a system to work on multiple goals at a time. That's what this is all about. But this year, I encourage you to pick 3. I pick 3 every year, but I know that there are balls in the air in others. but 3 become my focus. They're the ones I really want to focus on moving the needle forward on those goals. Now, you don't necessarily have to pick one that you can accomplish in 1 year or one that is 10 years or 20 years down the road. It's more important that you decide to work on 3. You're going to focus on 3. All right. Take some time. Pick your 3. And this is not easy. I know. Have you anybody ever done like the values exercise where you truly figure out your values and you start off with like 50 and then you narrow it down to 25 and then you narrow it down to 10 and then you narrow it down to 5 and you're like throwing things out like honesty and you're like, I feel like a terrible human. I'm getting rid of honesty. And that's kind of like this. I'm asking you to pick 3. And I know there are some goals that were in your top 25 or maybe your top 10 that you're like, but I really do want that. It's okay. Doesn't mean you're not going to get that or not going to work on it. But right now, let's pick 3. Okay, you picked your 3. So now what I want you to do with those 3 is to elevate them, put them on a new piece of paper because those are the 3 we're going to use for the rest of the exercises. So you have your goals and now you have a new sheet of paper with your 3 focused goals for the year. These are the goals you are going to focus on. It doesn't mean you don't have those other goals. I know some of you are like, oh, but I love them. I know. And this is where resolutions come into play. I know there's a lot of bad rap around resolutions. So I'm going to reframe it in a little different way. So as we know, a resolution is a firm decision to do something or not do something. It's the quality of being determined. So remember, you're resolving to do something or not do something. So peek at your goals. You have them in your head, your 3 goals. There are things that you will need to do or not do to achieve those goals. So I want you to think about resolutions more as deciding to have the habits, to create the habits so that you are able to achieve those goals. So for example, if your resolution has something to do with building a business, you need to resolve to work in your business and you need to resolve to work on your business. And you maybe need to resolve not to spend so much time on Netflix. Do you feel me? So what I want you to do right now is to take a look at your goals and decide, what do you need to do or not do in order to achieve those goals? Pick 5, maybe 10, but 5 is a good one. So maybe you need to not watch Netflix as much or scroll on social media, but tie them to your goals. What do you need to do or not do to achieve those goals? Here's another way of looking at it. Who do you want to become? I want to become a business owner. Okay, what do you need to start doing and stop doing to become a business owner? So what do you need to resolve, going back to the definition, what do you need to make a firm decision on to do or not do? Think of these like habits. These are your resolutions. These are the things that if you develop these habits, not only will you become part of the 8% who achieve their resolutions, but you will develop good habits that lead you to achieving your goals and your results. This is why resolutions don't work, because people start with resolutions that aren't attached to what they truly want. And then when stuff and life gets in the way or what they truly want appears, they trash these because they weren't intermingled and tied. So take some time and figure out, who do you want to become? What do you want to do? What do you want to stop doing in order to achieve your goals? And what will you make a firm decision on to do or not do? I suggest five habits. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have other habits. These are your goal habits, but five. So you pick 3 goals to focus on this year. You're going to pick 5 habits that will help you achieve your goals. All right. Are you back with me? Okay, so now it's time. You've decided your goals, the 3 that you're going to focus on. You've picked your habits. And so now it's really time to pick your theme. Remember, I do all of these things. And the reason I do them all is because they all work together. So your theme is a subject of talk, a piece of writing, a person's thoughts, or it's an idea that reoccurs. All right. And then they talk about literature and stuff like that. But it also is to give a particular setting or ambiance. And they say to a venue, but I would say to a year. And so a theme is a great way to bring your goals, your resolutions slash habits to life, so that you know throughout this year you are working on this theme. It's an easy way to articulate it. It's another way to set boundaries, because if something's not in your theme and not aligned with your theme, you can easily say, that's not my focus for this year. So I love a great theme. So it may be a phrase. So I've had a couple of years which were building years, and I knew that I was going to put in a lot of work building stuff, but I also knew that I didn't want to burn myself out. And so one year my theme was work hard, play hard, because I wanted to make sure that I kept that balance. Another year, one of my themes, I was really trying to explore new things. And so my theme was a year of creativity. And I tried everything. Like, I tried some things that I probably shouldn't have tried. So for example, I tried pottery. I tried other things, like cross crosswork no cross stitch. I did a lot of crafty things because I was really trying to get into my goal of becoming more creative, and really thinking about some of those things. So it all ties to a goal. One of the years my theme was connecting to the passions of my youth, because I knew that I had a goal to get back into riding. And so I had stopped riding horses for a while. And so that was part of my theme, was to connect to those passions of my youth. So when things came about and I was asked to do things, if they weren't a part of my theme, I could easily say no, because I knew they weren't attached to my goals. Or if things came forward and I was able to really reflect on this theme every couple of months, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've drifted from this theme. I'm not still on the theme. And I know that it really matters because it's tied to my goals, what I truly want. And so then I was able to go back to my resolutions slash habits. Does that make you feel better about resolutions slash habits, and say, well, what do I need to start doing and what do I need to stop doing? Because I've lost my connection to my goals because my theme has drifted away. So your theme truly is that grounding point for the year. It brings you back to those goals that you set at the beginning of the year, especially when life gets in the way. So I encourage you to set a theme for the year. Set a theme for the year, because it will help you to achieve your goals. All right. So now that you have taken some time to set a theme, this can be pretty. This can be in lofty language. This could be something that you really think about what that looks like. So, you know, brush it up, share it, something that you can share. It can be written in a way that reminds you why your goals are so important. So after you have a theme, I encourage you to set a word. And I love this definition of a word. A word is a single, distinct, meaningful element of speech or writing used with others or sometimes alone to form a sentence and typically shown with a space on either side, blah, blah, blah. But it's a command, a password, or a signal. I love that. Ever need a signal to remind you of your goals? And you can use words in a particular order to say or write something, but I love that it is used to express agreement. So a word is a signal, a way to express agreement with your goals. And so I do encourage you to pick a word for the year. And it may be tied to your theme or it may not, but it needs to be tied to your goals. So when you're thinking about your goals and you see this word, you're reminded of where you're going for the year and beyond. So take some time and really pick a word that articulates what you're trying to accomplish. Okay. I know that that's a lot and you probably just spent a lot of time making some decisions and you probably hit pause a couple times and that's okay. And now I want to move on to vision boards. So this is the definition of a vision board, a collage of images and words representing a person's wishes or goals intended to serve as inspiration and motivation. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people do vision boards all wrong and they don't work. Kind of like resolutions. They do work when they're done correctly. And so many times, what happens at vision board workshops, or if you're doing a vision board by yourself, is that people get out the magazines, or if you're doing it digitally, you start looking at pictures to find inspiration. And while I love looking at magazines and pictures, what tends to happen is you see a picture of like a fancy house and you're like, oh, I want a fancy house. And that goes on the vision board. Or sometimes you see a picture of a good looking person and you're like, oh, I need a partner this year. That goes on the vision board. Or you see a big ring or some running shoes and you're like, oh, I should work out this year because these purple shoes are really cute. And so your board becomes beautiful. It's a beautiful visual representation of all the things that you don't truly want because you just were inspired by good advertising. And it happens all the time on vision board workshops. If you start with the magazines, you will get a board that is not truly what you want. And so I encourage you when you do a vision board to start with your goals, start with your resolutions, your theme, and your word. Do this first. So for those of you who are in the New Year party, if you're not, it's not too late to sign up. It's never too late to get started. It's sarahmayer.com/New Year Party 2023. Sign up. We have a vision board workshop and we will start by putting together what you truly want and making something visual so that you can be reminded of where you're going, not just in 1 year, not just in 2 years, not in 5 years, not in 20 years, but the future. And it will remind you and inspire you. So I encourage you when you do vision board, when you come to the vision board workshop and you do create a vision board for yourself, whether you're at the workshop or not, to really go look for the images that represent your goal, not the other way around. Don't look for images to get inspiration on your goals because you'll end up with other people's visions. All right. Now I want to ask, what have you decided? What are your goals? What are your resolutions? What are your themes, words, And are you going to do a vision board? And it's really time to declare those. So, what's really cool about this party is that we do have some posts where you can actually declare your words, your goals, your visions. You can declare all the things. So, you can post those in the community. We love to hear it. But we've also created these documents where you can actually fill in what you have decided and declare it and put it out in the world. And so the next steps are really to document it. If you've made these decisions in your head and you haven't written them down, I encourage you to get a notebook or two or open up an Excel workbook and really start documenting. So you may be wondering, okay, this was a heavy workshop because we spent a lot of time on these. And if you had to hit pause, that's totally normal. You may be wondering, okay, where are we going? And if you remember back, I talked about the definition of objectives. And these are the things that are aimed or sought. And they really are the things that are going to drive you to the goal. And so the next phase is creating those objectives and finding the place to actually track them. So that's where we're going. So for you type A, who's like, I want the checklist and the to-do list, that's what's coming next. We are finally there. But before we do that, before we jump into deciding how we're going to achieve these goals, take the time, figure out your goals, pick 3, figure out your resolutions. I suggest 5 resolution/habits. What do you need to do or stop doing to achieve your goal? Pick your theme, pick your word, and get ready to create a vision board. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing you on the next video. If you haven't jumped into those swag bags, do that now. Check out the other speakers' resources. You truly are getting some of the best speakers who will help you not only set your goals, but crush them. All right, everyone. Happy New Year. Ooh, I got the horn to work. Happy New Year. Let's get goal setting.